Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Excel. This module is for people that are using Excel 2019-2016, not Office 365. So in their versions of Excel, they will not have the filter function and they will not have XLOOKUP. So I'm going to show you how to create a VLOOKUP that will bring back multiple rows of data like this. So basically, if I select an item from this list, an invoice, it just tells me what that is. So that's what a VLOOKUP would do without additional help. It would just bring back one row. But if I drop that down and pick a different invoice number, you can see as I go down this list, eventually you'll get ones that have more than one item. Come down to that one. There we go. We've got 4 items there. So this is a VLOOKUP with the if error function just to hide blank rows, as you can see at the bottom there. I'm also going to use the row function. So the first thing I will tell you is the row function. So I'm going to use it for my numbers. If I go equals row, open and close bracket, click the tick. What that does, it basically just tells you what row you're in. So if I pull that down, it's going to go 2, 3, etc., etc. So I am using that formula or that function inside this VLOOKUP. So what I'm going to do is come down under here and recreate this. So if I just make my screen a little bit smaller, widen that again, and just grab the titles, just need to grab these titles, pick them up, come down the screen a little bit, hold my control key down, you see the plus on the cursor there, that's a copy that, and I need to widen that a little bit. And then I will just do a little grid underneath that so we get some space, borders like so. And at the top there we've got customer and a space for that, so I'll just bring that down as well, customer. So you get the symbol to move. It's a bit tight here, but I'll put it there. And I'll colour these two yellow, so that's where I'm going to put the VLOOKUP, this VLOOKUP, to grab the information. So the information I'm going to use is in the customers sheet, customer data. So this is the data. But what I've done is added a helper column. So this is the helper column and that is the function. So I'm going to just delete these top 3, 4 off and show you what I've done here. I've used the COUNTIF function and concatenated it with the cell B2. So it's basically equals count if, press your tab key to get the bracket. So that's gone over B2. So I'm going to have to type this. So B2, I'm going to $ that first B2, F4, colon, and then B2 again, comma, and then B2 again. So that's just going to give me a count. And then I want to concatenate that with cell B2. So it'll put the number, whatever the count is, in front of this number here, A, B, whatever it is. Now I could do a space there, but I'm just going to have it as no space. So it's concatenate symbol is that, and then B2, and then tick, and what you should get is like a number 1 in front of that because there's one of them, and as you pull it down it'll go 2 and then 3 and then it'll go back to 1 because there's only one of this invoice number. So that is my helper column and that is the function that I've used. Now to get that to come through onto this sheet, this is the formula I'm going to use. I'm going to use the rows function. So I know what row we're on, I'm just going to do it down here because I'm going to need to minus some numbers off this row function. So the row, I'm on row 16, so I'm going to go minus 15 inside this formula here instead of minus 6, it was where I was there. But before I do all of this, I need to create this lookup list. So down the bottom there, in fact, I need to put it somewhere. I need a line, so I'll insert a line. Insert, so I can put it here. Color that a different color. Go for orange. So I need a data validation list that's going to look at the invoices. Now you'll notice that I've got named ranges in here, data on that one and data 1 on that one. So what I've done is, if I highlight from B to H, that is called data 1, and this one is called just data. So I've got 2. Let's go back into that. So this is the lookup now I'm going to do. So it's equals, in fact, before I do that, I need to do the data validation. So data validation, list option, and then select where you want that list to come from. So it's the invoice numbers, all these invoice numbers. And obviously you can go further down than that if you want, or you can create a list, a name. So now I've got my drop down list. I'll select that first one. So it's the same list as this. I'll put this one on the first one as well so we can compare the results. So there's 3 results. So I'll come down. So now I can do this function. So it's equals, I'll do VLOOKUP first. VLOOKUP, open the bracket. So now I need to refer to the rows, the number of rows. So that's the row function. So we know the row function is going to say 17, but I need to do minus 16 off that. Minus 16, so it starts with a 1. And then you can see up here, after that I need to concatenate that cell and I need to lock that cell, or you could name that cell. So the concatenation symbol is the and sign. Then I'm clicking on that cell because that's where it's looking at, and I need to $sign that, F4. So far so good. We've got all the way across to here. Now I'm going to refer to data, and then I've got a series of numbers at the top that I'm going to click on as well, and I'll $sign those. But let's type data. That's the list. So comma, and then data, comma. So I could put a number, a column number in there now, but at the top of the screen I've got some numbers there. So E1, and I'm going to $sign the 1 part of that. So I'll come back down, get myself in front of the 1 and do a $sign, and then click after that. I'll do it up here actually. So after that, so I've locked the 1, so that's going to give me a number, and then comma, that's going to be giving me a column number, then comma 0 for an exact match, which is the same as false. And I'll just close the bracket on that, and then let's see what that does. So that has come through with the invoice number, and if I pull that across, it has worked. However, I know that when I pull this down, if I do pull it down, I'll format this in a minute. If I come down 4, I'm getting this NA came down 5 there. So that's why you have the if error in front of all of that. So in front of all of this, I'm going if error. So basically, if the VLOOKUP returns an error, get right to the end of the VLOOKUP, do a comma, and then I'm going to go quote, quote, which means don't do anything. Close the bracket on that. Tick. Get the same answer, but this time when I pull that across, pull it across, let go, and then pull it down to the bottom there, these now disappear. I can format that to pounds, go back to home. Unless you've got it up here like I have, you can click on that up there, or on home it's there. If you want to know how to do that, you just right click and add to the quick access toolbar, which I've already done. Date format, I haven't done that, so that's in there. Short date, that's what I want. Here is where I want the total. Key command to add up a list in Excel is Alt equals, so that should grab that list. It does, tick in that. So there's my little invoice. Now I need the customer details to come in here and where the location is. So this is the other function. I'm now going to be looking at data 1, and the number I need is I1, which is 6. So it's just a straightforward VLOOKUP. So equals. VLOOKUP, open the bracket, I'm looking at that cell, I'm blocking it, F4, comma, this time I'm looking at data 1, which is everything, comma, and the column number I want is what's in I1, which is a 6, and then comma 0 for an exact match, and then close that bracket, click the tick, get Bob IT, and then pull that across for the location Newcastle. So if I change that invoice to something else, AMAC is in Bradford, it's got 4 invoice items, totaling it up. So that's how you can create a VLOOKUP that brings back multiple items by using, first of all, a helper column, which will concatenate a COUNTIF function, this function, and then using the rows function to basically give you a series of numbers that you can then concatenate with the VLOOKUP and a cell reference, in this case, the invoice number. And I've also used the if error function to hide any NAs that may appear. So that's all I want to talk about in this little video. So hopefully it's of use. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you on the next one.